Hello there, welcome back to Crafters TV. Hope you're having a fantastic Tuesday. I bet you are now, because of course it is a launch day. Brand new product coming your way that you will not have seen before here on Crafters TV. And it is all about stenciling. We've got great ink pads on the show. We're going to get a bit mucky and a bit messy. And the headmistress of Crafters TV herself is here with me. Jan is in the building. How are you, Jan?
Thank you, Joe. We've just been having a bit of a chuckle, haven't we? Sort of getting ourselves ready for going live. But yeah, honestly, you wouldn't believe some of these guys. They do make me laugh. It's a pleasure to come to work. And actually, sometimes I go home and my face hurts because I've been laughing and chuckling that much. So yeah, you can't say that all the time. Certainly not something I've been able to say before about work. So yeah, good one. So yes, I'm good. It's a little while, I think, Joe, since
we haven't
we've seen
been
each
together
other,
for
isn't
a while,
it?
have we?
So yeah, good to be back today.
Yeah,
we've
really
got the 3 J's, haven't we? Because we've got our producer Johnny in the studio, in the gallery there. So a triple J day today, and then our Charlotte,
and John,
and John, yeah. Oh, John,
and Jake, 5.
Oh, I'm running out of. How many is that then?
5.
What's 5? I was just about
squared,
to say John.
Cubed. What is it? So it's squared, cubed. What's the after that?
Quadrupled. 5. What's 5? Let us know.
It's 5 a quartet. No, it's 4, isn't it? A quintet.
A quintet.
Yeah, a quintet of J's.
A quintet of J's.
Yeah.
And then Charlotte, bless her.
Anyway,
so, yeah, I've got some samples just to show you some of the new designs that we've got coming. Let's bring it back, yeah. So just to give you an idea, they're all background stencils, but I'm going to try and work through and show you lots of different ways of using them. So some really nice everyday designs that are so useful for backgrounds for your projects. If you're not wanting to chop into your paper pad, if like me you love your inks and things like that, these are great. So we've got the rosebud one there, we have got beautiful scattered foliage in there, we've got, I love this one with the trellis on it.
That's cool,
absolutely
isn't it?
Gorgeous. So yeah, just using those pigment inks, adding your embossing powders. That's the foliage one again. We've got the hearts in there. But again, adding embossing powders to them, adding your texture paste, all those cosmic shimmer products that you bought. And then again, we've got those swirls. I'm going to start with this particular design for my demo. So I've tried to get as many demos in as possible for you guys today. Some of them are just techniques, some of them are making them into cards so that you can see them in action. But yeah, full show lined up. And I'll apologise now because I'm going to end up with inky fingers by the end of it, Joe, you can guarantee.
It's going to be one of those shows, Jan. It really, really is. Busy already for these. Lots of you have pre-ordered them. Let me go through them for you. I need to let you know that since this morning, 1/5 of the stock has gone already. And they are really great usable designs in a really lovely size for you too. So let's go through them. So you've got polka dots, which is this one just here. Then you've got your abstract swirls, which is this one's here. Something quite regal about that particular one. Then you've got your schmetterlings, which are these ones just here, the beautiful butterflies. Then you have this one here. Now this is your scattered foliage. Craig did a demo with this one in the earlier show. I love this one, the real 70s vibe about it in those sort of oranges and yellows. They are your cute florals. Then you've got your love hearts out there as well. I just love how that looks so dimensional, doesn't it? Then the next one here is this one, which is your elegant trellis. It's got a bit of a chainmail vibe about it, I think. Yeah. And then your rosebud floral there for you as well. Get all of them together. That is the best way to get the best value, because essentially it's like you're getting, what, 2 of them for free, which is brilliant. $27.99 or $37.56. I need to remind you as well, it's a triple points day here today on Crafters TV and across the entire website as well. So just for today, up until midnight, wherever you are, you will get triple points on every single purchase. So anyone that's eyeing the next level in the club, maybe today is the day that you are going to do it. I also need to let you know as well that when you get them all together, that's the best value. Less than £28, under $38 for platinum members. Lots of you chatting away and saying hi as well. Any questions you've got as we go through, as always, I'll be here for you. Crafters TV on Facebook, Crafters Companion if you're over on YouTube. I would say as well, brilliant collection, or a brilliant promotion I should say, on the Pigment ink pads. They're on a 3 for 2 at the moment. So they're $4.99 or $6.95 each, however 3 for 2. So we've got so many different colours. Head to the website crafterscompanion.co.uk.com.au, hit the shop the show button, have a look at all the different colours that are there. So if you are looking to maybe replace a few, you want to pick and choose, today's the day to allow you to do that. Right, Jan, I'm excited for the next couple of hours. Always fun when we get a bit inky.
I'm excited because this is what I love doing. I love playing with the inks. I really do. So stamping and anything to do with inks or colouring mediums, just up my street. So yeah, when they said there was a new range coming out, couldn't wait. It's like me, let me do them. Yeah. So I'm going to start out with the abstract swirls, and I've sort of not gone in any particular order with them, and I've, as I say, try and fit as many different techniques. So you think, well, it's a stencil and it's an ink, but there are still lots of things that you can do with them to make them look different. So all the stencils are 7 by 7 in size, all right, and they've got a little tiny border around the outside, so that if you want to keep that white border around the edge of your design, you can. I've cut some of mine down, I've cut into them, all sorts of different things. So in order to get started, we've just got that lovely sort of thin mylar that we're used to with the stencils. Now some of them, like this one, has got, you can see there's an area there that is sort of not loose, but you just be mindful when you're doing the inking, if you've got areas like this, that you're not being too sort of rough with them. You want these stencils to last a long time. And anything like this that comes in the mylar is all wipe clean. So whatever product you've used on it, majority of the products are water-based. So you can either run them under the tap, you can leave them in a little water bath if you're doing lots of them, and then clean them all up at the end. Just a baby wipe or a piece of kitchen paper and water, they will all wipe smooth. And you've seen me wipe them off onto scrap card before, so that you're making sort of like that ghost background. So what I'm actually going to do is take a little bit of the low tack tape and tape this in place, because I tend to use them as is. If you're not so you know, confident with them, you can actually use, if you've got our aerosol, our stick and spray, you can actually pop these into your spray box and coat the back of them with the stick and spray. Now this is a repositionable ink, a repositionable adhesive. So what it allows you to do then is actually stick this onto your card, and then you've got a little bit more sort of assurance that it's not going to move. And for these areas,
sort of residue behind?
Pardon?
Does it leave any sort of residue behind?
Not at all, no, you'd be surprised. It will just literally peel on and off your cardstock, and you'll get several goes out of it. You don't have to apply this every time you use it. You'll probably get 3 or 4 or 5 goes out of it before you'll have to reapply the adhesive. But I just like to stick mine down and work with them like that. So I've actually cut my card just a little bit bigger than the stencil. I've worked on 7 1/4 inches, and so that I've got somewhere to stick the tape. And I'm actually going to stick it right the way down to the mat as well. So you can see that there on our overhead camera, and I'm going to work with it literally in situ. I have got Nina cardstock under here. Stamping card would work just as well. You want something that's got a fairly smooth surface. If you're using things like watercolour card, it will still work. You will just get a slightly different texture, because the watercolour card's almost got like a pitted texture to it, so you'll not get as even coverage. But who's to say that's not what you're wanting to, you know, to go for? So again, Harmony Pigment inks. You know I love these. I've nearly always got them with me in some shape or form. So the fact that they were on the show today, Jan was a happy camper. So literally I've just chosen some colours, and I've gone for 3 of the same colour family for this one. So we're going to create like an ombre effect going through from the Frosty Jade, Green Topaz and Smoked Emerald, which are all that sort of turquoisey green family that we've got in our Spectrum Noir range. And I've also brought my my little ink daubers, which you've seen me use before. So I'm going to flip between these and the sponge applicators, depending on what I'm doing and how big a gap we've got in the stencil. Some of the gaps are more open than others, lend themselves to a bigger surface area. So I'm actually going to take out my ones, and I've got one for each of the ink pads. They were designed that way to go with the ink pad, so that we're not actually contaminating the colours. And I'm just going to move those 2 darker ones out of the way.
So I know we've called these pigment ink background stencils. I'm guessing there's nothing to stop us using water reactives or Midas or all the other ones.
Quick
that we have in
dry
our
inks,
stash.
they will all work. The only reason we've done them today with the opaque pigment is so that I can show you different techniques.
Brilliant.
The opaque pigment inks actually stay wet for longer, which means that for some of the demos we can add embossing powder, and you get that lovely glossy finish. I've got a lovely one to come up later that's just black and white, and I've embossed black on the white card and white on the black card, and it looks really striking. So
have you got your magic heat tool?
I have got my magic heat tool. I wouldn't be without it, honestly. I heard a little rumour that somebody, I don't know who it was it Craig and Ben, were playing a game? Right. And they were making noises to guess, and apparently my heat tool came up, and Ben went. Jan's heat tool. I don't know when it was. Just somebody said to me that, oh, they were in stitches because they just didn't make any noise because it was Jan's heat tool. So if you're not sure what we're talking about, if you have just joined us and you're a new customer, just wait while we get the heat tool out and it will explain all, honestly. So all I'm going to do then is ink up my little finger dauber, and these are great for applying the ink into those smaller areas. And I'm just going to take some of the parts of the stencil and use that sort of lighter shade first. So again, just being mindful of this area here where the stencil's a bit more sort of, where the design's cut into it, there are pieces that lift. So you don't want to damage it, because the stencils will last you a long time. They're made of that good quality mylar, and as long as you look after them. Mylar, yeah. It's the form of plastic that we use for the stencils.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that, Jan.
Yeah. So again, just adding it, and then I'm going to move to a different part. So I'm going to come over here and sort of almost work in thirds. So we're going to go with sort of 3 areas that have the lighter colour, and then I'm going to move on to the medium shade and then onto the dark, so that we're using all the same colour family for this first particular demo. There's no right or wrong where you put this ink. It doesn't have to be, you know, you don't have to study the pattern too hard and think, oh, well, that bit of pattern finishes there. Just go for it, wherever you think it should go. So again, I'm just going to come down to the bottom here so that we've got those 3 areas there that have that lighter coloured ink in it. And then we're going to swap our finger dauber and we're going to come to the next shade, which is the green topaz. So that's a slightly deeper shade than what we're working with here.
When you're doing techniques like this, is it important you use colours from the same family, or could
Nope.
you use clashing colours?
Not
for something
at all.
like this?
Later on one of the other demos, I'm going to mix the colours up completely. Yeah, good question, Joe. It doesn't have to be, you know, there's no rules, to be honest. You know, you use whatever you fancy with them. I just started out here with that sort of ombre of colour, just as somewhere to start. But there's a couple coming up later where I've mixed the colours in there. So I'm going to go to the mid-tone now, which is the green topaz, and I'm just going to grab a little bit of kitchen paper, because we're getting inked up on that stencil now. We're going to attempt to save the fingers. I can't promise anything, but yeah, just where we've got to with the light one. And there's not sufficient ink left on here that it's going to contaminate these. So don't worry about going over areas that you've already done. And again, I'm just sort of looking at where the stencil's a bit more delicate than others, and I'm just sort of going from dabbing it on to swirling it on.
Would you always start with the lightest tone and then build up to the darkest tone?
I tend to, so that when you're inking, if I'd have started with the darkest one, to get the darkest one on the medium and the medium one on the light one, there'd be more contamination than going the other way. So it's just a personal thing. There's no right and wrong, Joe, and that's what I love about this kind of crafting. You know, you do what you think. There's not a good way to do it or a wrong way to do it. So again, this particular bit where the swirl is, there's a lot of movement on the actual stencil. So just being gentle in that particular area. And again, we're just going to go for 3 separate places with the darker one there. So we've got 1, 2, and we'll do a little bit just down here. So again, you know, this might be different areas to what I did on my sample. There's, again, no right or wrong there. And then we're going to pop that one to one side and bring in Smoked Emerald, which is that darkest of those 3 shades. So again, just filling in any of the gaps there. Again, just being mindful of that little bit that's a bit looser than other areas of the stencil. If you've used the stick and spray on here, you'll not get as much movement. So if you are new to this kind of crafting, then I would definitely recommend that stick and spray just to go along with them. So again, just take your time. We always seem to be rushing here in the studio so that we can fit as much in as we can for you.
I always love the reveal of a stencil.
Yeah, honestly. It's sort of, you look at it here and think, oh yeah, it's sort of coming together. But honestly, when you take it away, it does make a difference there. So then what I'm going to do is not to do too much, because I don't want to contaminate too much, but just where the dark has gone over the medium, I'm sort of almost brushing it back into its own space. Does that make sense?
Does indeed.
Just to get a little bit of blend going on it. And then again, I'm going to do the same with the light one there. It doesn't contaminate it too much because they're all the same colour family. You're going to get
Can
that
we clean
blend.
these daubers off if we need to as well?
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, you could rinse them under the tap. Just give them a little wash. They'll be absolutely good to go.
Excellent.
So, and then we're ready for that reveal. So I'm going to lift the tape off, and we're going to take one off there. And don't worry, as I say, if I've snagged the paper there, because I've trimmed it down when I've used it on my card. And then we'll lift this one, and you can just see, see where it's moved a little bit there. Yep, so as I say, the adhesive does work and give you a better adhesion with those that are got that open area in there. But just to give you an idea of what they look like. And then what I did is trim it, because I wanted it sort of edge to edge with the stencil. And I've done that already, but then I'm obsessed. I launched these last Friday on Wake Up Call, and these are the new matte and layering dies.
They're cool,
I've just
aren't they?
got obsessed with them, Joe.
The matte and layered, as we're calling them.
Matte and layered, yep. So I've actually got...
Did you say, was that a Scottish accent I detected?
Yeah, matte and layered.
Layered.
That's what I call him, Mr. Matte and Layered. He's like, he chuckles every time I say it.
It did go a little bit Northern Irish there, but well, you know, you're amongst friends, Jan.
A bit Irish, that just about sums me up, doesn't it?
Matte and layered.
A bit matte and layered. Okay, so what I've done is I've taken several of those layering dies there, and these are just the matte and layering squares, and I've left them stuck together because I'd used these, as I say, on the sample. So just making sure that you've got an even distance between all the actual squares. And then I'm going to pop this on here and cut out, you know me, I'm always chopping things up, nothing ever stays in one piece. So I'm just going to secure that onto the design there, and then literally pass this through my Gemini. Now they will fit, I did actually test, and they will just, even though we're working with a slightly larger piece of cardstock, you've got a little bit of overlap on here. So what I could do with these, bearing in mind the squares only go from here to here, is leave that little bit hung out if I was using the Gemini, but on this occasion I'm just going to pop them on those larger cutting plates so that we've got that edge to edge. So either of your, I've mentioned this before, it's not so much the size of the dies, it's the size of the project that you're working on as far as the machines are concerned. And then what we're going to do is get loads of little frames that are basically all decorated with that continuous pattern going through it, and then that opens up lots of different things that you can do with them.
Loads of people tuning in saying hi. Deborah's in Texas, Alison's in Westlake Village, California. Now that sounds really glamorous. Is it glamorous? Do let us know, Alison. Brenda is in from Kentucky. Wanda's in from New York. Mary Pat's in Montana. Georgianne is in Clearwater. Who else is here? Pam E is in from Central New York as well. And Rhonda's got fingers crossed for a John sighting today. You never know. You never know. He is in the building.
He is.
So who knows, Jan?
So just to take the tape away, and then what we've got is lots and lots of these little frames now. So again, this is open up to all sorts of possibilities with how you then display these. So I've got, and they're all perfect squares because we've used those dies, but they literally all line up with the design. So if I get I'm going to get a piece of darker card so that you can see what I'm doing with this. So again, you know, you've got literally, you could just sit them back in, so that you've got that look of those layers, and you can see how the pattern actually works through it. Now what I did, I put the first one in as a spacer, stuck the second one down, and then I've taken this one back out and kept that one for something else, so that you've got like a faux matting and layering. We were talking the other day when I was here about, you know, like when you put things in the post, you might not want them to be two-dimensional. And even adding extra mats in is literally raising that project. So by popping this one in as a spacer, pop this one in, and then take the next one out. Now this works better as you stick them down, obviously, because I'm trying not to move them. All right, so again, you're going to get that effect.
That's awesome.
That you've got that design going on. So again, this would be the next one. We're going to keep that one out and pop this one in. So you've created the effect that you've got a set of matte and layers there.
Yeah, from here you would never know.
But it's totally flat. So I've actually I'm going to jump from that to a finished sample on this occasion, because I want to try and fit in as much as I can for you today. So this is what I did with it, and this is what we ended up with. I've used green card behind here. So you can see these layers give the illusion that it's matted and layered. but it's all actually completely flat because they're just stuck directly. And on this one, I've used that gorgeous green satin card out of our luxury card pack, which matches the greens in that ink range beautifully. And then we've also put 1 or 2 sentiments on the show just in case you needed to top up on those. These are the swash sentiments. So I've just stamped on a piece of vellum, happy birthday to you, and added a couple of little embellishments that I'd got from dies that were out on the desk. And then obviously you've got a set of 3 squares left here that we've not used on the design. So again, it was like, well, I could use those on a second card. But what I've done is I've taken the largest one there and I've just lined a piece of card to actually pop it inside so that you've got a bit of coordination. Now this is from the swash stamp set, the little candles, but I just thought with a happy birthday one, they were nice to have. And then you've got somewhere to write your little message inside that's all coordinated. So yeah, that was how we arrived at it, just using those matting and layering dies. But this, apart from the embellishment stuck on there, it is pretty much totally flat. You can see there, there's hardly any dimension on it. So it's a great one for posting out, but giving you that absolute sort of illusion that there's plenty of layers going on in there.
Amazing, absolutely love that. One of so many different techniques you're going to see throughout the show. Let me run you back through then what you're getting included in here. You've got incredible designs, 8 brand new designs here for you, which is amazing. So you've got your polka dots, which is this one just here. Then we also have the abstract swirls. This one here is those butterflies, the beautiful butterflies nonetheless. Then you also have your scattered foliage. This one here, this is the cute florals. You've got the love hearts, elegant trellis, and also your rosebud floral there as well. Getting them all together represents the best value. Any 2 of these for £10 or $13 if you want to get them in that way. Don't forget triple points. Also, all of you getting some sort of club inspired discount as well. I think the great thing about Stencils is that they are, I mean, for the amount of them you get, it's quite a minimal investment, but they offer you so much versatility, and by colouring them up in different ways, you can create really different looking effects and results. Almost a quarter of our brand new launch stock has now sold out and gone. It is very, very busy. Lots of you still commenting away and saying hi. Aisha's in, saying good morning. Hi, ready for my lesson with Jan today. Panda Crafts is saying hi from South Yorkshire as well. Linda's watching on her day off, which is amazing. Rhonda says, did everyone hear that Jake is going to be a daddy? He is going to be a daddy. Daddy Jake. We were joking the other day, Jan, that the baby's going to come out with a perfectly formed mullet. What do you think?
There's a good chance, isn't there?
Yeah, I think it's a really good chance that's going to happen. And if it doesn't happen, then there needs to be some sort of comedy photo whereby that is made possible.
Yeah.
Tony says, that's awesome. Wow, triple points. Dana's loving the size of these as well. Mary Knowles says she really enjoys shows with Jan and Joe. That's very nice of you. And a big fan of Stencils too. Panda Craft says, can we run these through the machine to emboss with them if we wanted to, Jan?
Oh, we certainly can. We're going to do that a little bit later on. So that's one of the demos to show you how to do that, and then just to add your inks on top of it as well. Yep.
Excellent. Look forward to that. Now, we've got some other items in the show that really complement these brand new stencils very well. I get my teeth in, Jan, at some point, honestly. So let me take you through these ones just here. So in here, you're going to get the stamp and the die, and you get the sentiment in there as well. So I, you, with lots of, and then the stamp and die being love. You also then have birthday. You've got friend, happy, baby, thanks, congrats, and then you also get in here as well these. Now these are amazing. These are a celebration essentials. So in here you've got your little balloon animals, cupcakes, bunting, presents. Really going to help you finish that project off and bring it all together, which is fantastic. And a brilliant price there for you. Platinum members saving more than you're spending there on that particular collection. So do snap those up. Something else that is awesome is your interchangeables. Now I love these. These are really awesome because I think with the everyday ones, there's sentiments on here that you may not necessarily go out and spend money on a die on. For instance, happy thoughts, happy Easter. Probably not, but happy birthday, absolutely you would. The great thing is each one of these, not only does it have this individual detailing on the matte layers, but what you also then has is the ability to interchange the sentiment. So this one here is your butterfly foliage with happy birthday, Easter and thoughts. Then you've got the regal frame, which is this one here. That's got just for you, miss you and thank you. This one here is your wild flowers. Oh, Jan, what is going on today? Honestly, it's like I've got a friend's dentures in. Wildflowers, which has sending hugs, sending love, and sending kisses. I'll get them in by the end of the show, don't you worry. Lovely Vines, which is best wishes, best of luck, best friend. This one here is your ornate swirls. You've got sending wishes, birthday wishes, and get well wishes. And this one here is your pretty florals. That's got congratulations, celebrate, and condolences there as well. Well, that's a really awesome, you've got 6 there, so that's offering you, what, 18 different sentiments for that incredible price. As I said, our Club Inspire Platinum members, you save more than you spend here with this. Don't forget also triple points coming your way on everything on air and also everything you see across the entire website. Right, back to Jan. I know Jan's got so much to try and squeeze in today. She's going to be rifling through these demonstrations.
To be sort of like quick with them today, which is why I've got some of them ready so that you can see the finished product. So we're going to jump onto rosebud florals now, and I think this is a classic one, you know, for things like weddings and anniversaries and things like that. You can't go wrong with the floral. And again, you can see the inspiration on the packet. We've just used the red there for the red roses, so I'm thinking, you know, maybe like a Valentine's project, something like that. I'm going to move on from using that ombre of colour, and Joe asked this earlier on about whether you could mix the colours. So we're actually going to go with two different colours from 2 families this time. So I've got the stencil out. They're all the same size, but there's nothing to stop you.
Did you say it was 7 by 7, Jan?
Yes.
Which is, correct me if I'm wrong, is that a little bit, it's not a standard size for a stencil,
No, I
is it?
think before we've concentrated on a 6 by 6 being sort of the largest one, whereas this is a nice size. If you like making bigger cards, you've got the facility to do that, just like we did with that first one. This card base on here is actually 7 inches square.
Amazing.
And then I've just cut mine down to fit that. But again, you know, they'd be big enough to mat and layer on an 8-inch card, but then, you know, you've got the facility to chop them down if you wish. Like this one, I've just got a slim piece. We're actually going to make a long sort of, like a DL card, but portrait, landscaping design. So I literally just want to pick out part of the stencil this time, which is fine. You know, you don't have to use all of it if you don't want. And then because we've got roses and the foliage on here, I'm literally just going to pick out the 2 colours. So pop this wherever you want it, you know, part of there that you want to use. I've just got a little bit of tape left on there, I think, from when I've used it previously. And then I'm going to, again, because that card's a little bit longer, this one I want to extend it because I want the whole thing covered. So what I'm going to do is start just off one edge here, and then we get a lot of repeating patterns on these, so we can move it along and ink that last bit. So I'm going to show you how to do that as well. So what I'm going to do is actually just tape at the back there and bring it in off that plain edge at the side, and literally just tape it down so that it's not actually going to move anywhere. And then because we've got smaller areas in here again, I'm going to use my little finger daubers, and I've chosen pale fig for the roses and grasshopper to do the foliage with. So we'll do the roses first, and again, I'm literally just going to take that little dauber and work in the area where we've got the actual flowers there. So again, you know, just pop in that ink, and it's so easy with these to just literally push it through that stencil, and then you can decide. You can be quite precise. You can see how easy it is to do, to just pop it in there, pick out the flower work first, and then we're going to go back in and actually do the foliage with the green. Now, I'm not too worried if there's a little bit of contamination. You often find, particularly with leaves, that you do, and especially rose leaves, you do sometimes get a little bit of colouring in the leaves from the flowers themselves. So again, just you can see how quick this is going on to there. Looking into that stencil and just finding out where the flower parts are. You've got some little rosebuds.
And I guess, Jan, there's nothing to stop you just using the flower element. You know, no reason to say you have to fill the whole stencil with
You might
colour.
want to then move it round and fill some of the gaps in and just use the actual roses. Yeah, absolutely. You know, this is the good thing about stencils. You know, you've got that there to work with. You know, make it work for you. So again, I think we've got all the flowers there. I can't see any that I've missed. And I'm going to do the green work first, and then we'll move the stencil over a little bit. So again, just taking that grasshopper with the dauber, and then you can see where we've got the leaf parts left. So just pushing that ink into the stencil there really quick. Obviously you can spend more time doing this at home. I just want to try and fit as much in as I can for you. Just be careful on this end that you're not going, and if you're worried about that, pop a little bit of masking tape here or some sticky notes to cover that area that you don't want to get the ink on, because we're going to move it along in a second. So literally just popping it over those areas that we need that green ink in, and you can see how quick it comes together.
You can indeed. Wendy says, Jake's hair makes my heart happy. I bet his hairdresser doesn't feel like that. I bet it takes him hours to get a tangled tease through that. Is he here?
There
do you
we
want to see
go,
Jake?
look.
Sure. I'm off.
All right, so I've literally covered the area that I want to work with there. So I'm going to lift the stencil off that tape at the back, and you can see there where you've got that sort of multitude of colours. Now, if you bring this along and have a look where it fits, I can see now here, whoops, let me just get the tape. You can see now that we're actually going to bring it and find the space where those flowers are actually going to fit in. So I'm just having a look now.
So they're all a repeating pattern,
yes,
aren't they, Jan?
They are, yeah. So if I lay that over here now, you can see that I've got this line lined up here, all right, with the design. And then I can let it grab the tape that's already behind there. So I just want to make sure it's over the actual design there. And I can see through the stencil to line it up. Not too worried if it's not perfect, because I'm only going to work on this end bit now here. So again, holding it down, I've got a little bit of the foliage left to fill in there. So just while I've got that green out, we'll do that first. And then if I pop back to the lilac one there, we can just finish those little roses off, and all it does is extend that pattern along your design, so you can work with pieces that are not sort of standard to that 7x7 grid. Obviously this is longer than that, but when we take that away now, you would never know that wasn't all one piece. Okay, so that's going to be my background layer. And then for this one, I just wanted a hint of the design. This is going to be my topper. So what I did was have a look at some of the foliage and thought, right, we'll just go a little bit, and I'm only going light. I've not re-inked the finger dauber here, and I've just got a little bit on the corner there. I'm going to use the same part of the stencil, and again, not re-inking. I just want it to be a bit lighter now.
Someone's asking, are you using a light touch, would you say, with these?
Yeah, you don't need much pressure because the stencils are only thin, and we're talking like probably a millimetre or two.
Yeah.
So you don't have to sort of apply a lot of pressure to get that ink through here. And because these are sponge, and the sponge applicators that we use for applying ink, which I'll show you in a little while, you know, they actually made to depress into those stencils. So no, doesn't need much pressure at all. But what I wanted to do was just build up like an area around the outside so that it links. But I felt to do the whole stencil again would have been too much. It would be too busy to work with this.
Right.
So we've just got that foliage around the outside there. So to pop those to one side, take that tape off there out of the way, and then I'm going to show you how to use this in your cards, just to pop a card together. So I've got inky fingers already, so I'm just going to give them a little wipe. So I've taken a piece of Centura Pearl this time. And as I say, I've made a long, so what would be a DL card? So it's 4 inches wide, the width, the 8 1/4 width of our A4 here. And literally I'm going to use it this way. And you can see here where we've got this far. All right, I've perhaps been a little bit heavier. This is a bit more solid, the colour. So it might just be that I've added more ink to it while I was at home. As I say, we always seem to be trying to do things quick for you here on TV. So this is a little bit more of a pastel palette there. And then I've just matted and layered it on some cardstock that complemented that green. And I've written myself a note that says ribbon, because I'm always forgetting to stick my ribbon on. I get giddy and start sticking things together. So I thought, right, I'm going to put it there because this is going to be covered up. So I've just put a couple of bits of tape on the back here to secure the ribbon. And we'll make sure that that's as straight as it can be. We'll just have a look at that by eye there and flick that round the back before I actually stick it down. So I'm just going to use a tape pen to pop these layers together, just to add some detail there on the back.
Katie easily says, Jan is such an amazing teacher, as well as all of the pretty effects. Oh, no, she says afterwards. I think that it's inevitable that these are going to end up in Katie's basket. Lily Ruggs says, good morning, Jo and Jan. So excited about these and excited to see what Jan does with them. I ordered these along with both sets of the matte and layer dies. Oh, and I may have snuck a reindeer treat box in there too.
Oh, of course, yeah.
That's a nice little haul, isn't it?
So again, you can see there where the colour's just a little bit darker, and the only reason for that is I've probably applied a little bit more pressure and had more ink on my actual dauber there. But you can see how I've created that edging. And then again, I've used one of those swash stamp sets, and rather than using the same flowers, because I didn't want it to be too overpowering, these are actually part of the swash stamp. So in here, not only do you get the sentiments, but you get loads of little embellishment stamps. So I've just used one of those, put that little cluster in the middle that's just going to link it to the lilac in here, created a matte. You can see those square matting and layering dies again, you know, they're never ever going to be far away from my desk, those. And then I've tried not to put too many foam pads on the back. Look at this, I'm getting a pro.
Look at you with the foam pads now.
Yeah.
Do you remember the days where you used to actively avoid using foam pads?
I did used to, and do you know, looking back at it now, I think it was all because the original set that I used was an old set that I'd had in my craft room a while. And bearing in mind I craft in my conservatory, I think they just got too stuck to the backs of the foam pads. And literally that's what was giving me all the grief. And now I look back at it and think, you know...
So you keep them in the fridge nowadays, do you?
Keep them in the fridge.
Can you imagine?
I
was visiting a pint of milk. Oh, some foam pads in here.
So I'm just going to use a little bit of wet glue because we're going over the ink and the ribbon. And I only want it on the bottom part of here because I'm going to pop this at an angle like so over that background piece. Hold that down for a second, and then I've just got a piece of ribbon, and I couldn't make my mind up when I was designing with this whether to have the ribbon there, or I quite liked it on the bottom of there. What do you think?
I think there.
Here? Or here?
Are you doing a
Silence.
Leanne? You're going to do a Leanne to me. I'm going to say there and you're going to do it the other way. Leanne says to me all the other time, what colours should we use for this, Jo? And I say, oh, this one. She said, no, that would look horrible. And then she does something completely different.
I've made an executive decision. I'm going to pop it on that little corner just there because nobody talked to me. They're all busy doing something else and nobody had a... Jo, did you say on this corner, Jo?
I said there, yeah.
Yeah, we'll go with that then. All right. But again, just to show you, you know, that we started with a stencil that was 7 by 7 in size, but there's nothing to stop you using it to make those smaller designs should you wish. So very different to what we did with the first one, but still using those designs and using 2 colour inks in that one, just taking it a step on from the ombre effect that we created on the first one.
Yeah, a really great way of using them. I guess, Jan, the thing is you can do all these techniques with all the stencils, I'd imagine.
Absolutely.
Brilliant.
Yeah, they're all mix and match. You don't have to have a certain one for a certain style. Yeah, you could literally do one style and go through all the different stencils, put them together in a box and, you know, have them as like a little gift box of cards for somebody.
Nice.
So yeah, you might pick a colour scheme. So for example, if you were working with this particular design, do this design with all of the stencils and you've got a collection going. Or it may be that you choose one stencil and do lots of different colourways.
Yeah.
Pop them together, make a gift box. You've got a really nice gift for somebody to use throughout the following year then for birthdays and, you know, occasions and things like that.
Yeah, excellent idea. Aisha says, I'm so thankful that CC takes the guesswork about putting together the colours by colour family, new to crafting and love learning about colour theory. Kathy says the swirl design would be a beautiful embossing folder. Well, you can emboss with them. Carol Guy says, can't wait for the matte and layer dies to arrive. Patty's in California says, so happy to see Jan doing this launch. These are right up her alley. They are right up Jan's Straza. Patty says, I'd like to see more shapes in these. She's having a little chuckle over there. Crafty Becky says, I ordered the stack stackable dies a few days ago. Love the sizes. Kate says, oh gosh, I need these stencils. May's Cocoa Patch was staying away from these stencils. They didn't work because they are too beautiful, is what she says. Elaine also says as well, there's a lot of East Coasters in the chat today. Let's spread things out. Good morning from Oregon on the West Coast. Hello. Where's the West Coasters at? Let me know. Let me know where you are over on the West Coast, or in the middle bit, as I like to call it. I don't think that's what it's called, the middle bit. But
Central America.
Yeah, the bit that's not on the left and the bit that's not on the right. The middle bit. Anyway, let me recap what you are getting in here. So, I think Jan always brings me out in a bit of a silly mood, you know. I think she does. I think it is. It's that headmistress pupil scenario. I think
Are you
that's
being
what it
the
is.
naughty schoolboy, Joe?
Yeah. When I'm good, but when I'm bad, I'm better. Let me show you what you've got then in this particular collection. So, you've got in here the polka dots, which are these ones just here. Really, really beautiful. Then we've got our abstract swirls in here too. This one here is your beautiful butterflies. You're going to also receive, of course, the scattered foliage. You've got the cute florals. I love this one. Can't wait to see Jan use this one. The love hearts, really beautiful. Then you've got the elegant trellis. I think there's lots of different things that you could make that resemble with a little bit of thought. And then the rosebud floral in there too. $34.99 or $46.95. That's a platinum price for you of under £28 or $38, which is excellent value considering you're getting 8 brand new stencils. Now, let's move on. Let's also share with you these, the swash stamps. These are excellent. When you just have a card that just maybe just needs finishing off, it just doesn't need too much, just a small sentiment on there or a little embellishing stamp. These are brilliant. So these are your Simply Said with things like good luck, happy new home, bon voyage, happy retirement. I nearly said happy restaurant then for a moment. That's not what it says. The monitor's quite a long way away. My eyes aren't the best. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, hip hip hooray. You're invited, party time there on your birthday ones. You've also got the with love ones. So I love you, with love, you're engaged on your wedding day. Lots of love, made with love. And then you've got just to say. So just to say hello, thinking of you, sorry for your loss, get well soon, and just a note. All the little different embellishing stamps within there too. I said, hang on, have you seen the price on these? £7.98. £7.98 for all 4 of them. How much percent? A 60% saving. Now, is it? Yeah, it's 60%. Sorry, I thought surely it's not as much. No, it really is 60% you're getting off there. Save £12 or $16.68. Very low stock is what I'm hearing on those. £6. If you're a platinum member and you don't own those, I mean, just pop them in your basket at that price. They're amazing, and you're going to get triple points in there. Lots of you with very. Sorry.
You're getting that really good price on them, but you're going to get triple points, which is probably the equivalent of getting the number of points that you would if you were paying full price for them.
Exactly.
Win-win.
Absolutely.
In the basket.
Winner.
In the basket.
Hot chicken dinner. Right. Winner. I don't know what's going on. Anyway, I'm going to give you an opportunity to check out your baskets. Whilst you do that, here's all the details of US delivery. Take a look.
We've had to make some changes to our shipping charges, and we want to keep you informed. With continued pressure on domestic shipments around mainland US, we've had to temporarily increase the cost of our regular 6 to 10 working day standard shipping service from $9.99 to $12.95, and our free shipping threshold from $100 to $125. We also have some really great news to tell you. We've introduced a brand new shipping service called Express Delivery. This is a fully tracked door-to-door service which takes 3 to 7 working days and costs $19.95. This option means you'll get your crafty goodies in your hands sooner, meaning less waiting and more crafting. We're also upgrading delivery services for our Gold and Platinum Club Inspire members, who will now receive priority delivery on all of their orders. And if that wasn't enough, we've upgraded these orders to our new Express 3 to 7 day service. Your patience and understanding throughout this very busy time has been amazing. So we'd just like to say a huge thank you, and we look forward to chatting to you again very soon.
Welcome to Club Inspire, the Crafters Companion community where you can feed your crafty obsession. Join our fantastic loyalty club today and receive 20% off your first order. We'll also give you 250 points to help get you started. Other benefits of joining Club Inspire include exclusive special offers and discounts for Club Inspire members only, exclusive sneak peek previews of brand new product launches, and of course the Club Inspire community group on Facebook, where you can access exclusive content such as downloads, offers and inspiration, and of course you can chat and share your makes with other members. You'll receive 1 point for every pound, dollar or euro you spend, and the more points you receive, the more benefits you'll unlock. So what are you waiting for? Sign up, join the club and start rewarding yourself today.
All the details there of US shipping and Club Inspire as well. Lots of you still chatting away with us. Pam, love that faux matte and layer technique that you did, Jan. Brenda's saying good morning from Jacksonville, Florida. Who else we got here? Khaki Blue wants to know what DL means.
Right, okay, that's a very good question. Very good question. It's something to do with the length. It's a standard sort of size card, 4 inches, about 10.5 centimetres, just to make that tall, skinny card. And we did have a conversation about this a while ago.
Dimension lengthwise?
I don't know, it's not double length. But it's something to do, because normally you would use them portrait like this to make the DL size, and you can buy what we call, certainly in the UK here, we can buy what we call DL envelopes. Is it double length?
Because it's double as long as it's wide?
Possibly, yeah, because we've got sort of the 8x4, so it could be as a standard. And as I say, you can buy envelopes here in the UK that are referred to as DL envelopes. So this size, I mean, obviously I'd need a slightly larger envelope with the way I've put that one on. But yeah, this sort of where it's that sort of tall, skinny version rather than the square cards. Something I've always wished to be.
Yes, me and you both, Jan. Christine says, I like the roses. A lot of you talking about what your favourites. Laura says she loves the elegant trellis. Lots of love. Pam says the floral one is beautiful. A lot of love for that last demonstration. Pam says she liked the foliage, the butterflies and the swirls. Sue loving the swirls with the foliage coming a close second. Katie's letting me know they are now in her basket. Oh no. Great colour combos as well, says Aisha. Gilmore says Jan's demos are always like mini craft alongs. They absolutely are. Some of you tuning in, let me know where you're tuning in from as well. Beth, it is the Midwest Joe, and I'm in North Dakota. Today is National Colouring Day in the USA.
Fantastic.
Happy National Colouring Day.
Yeah.
Morning from Kansas City, says Kylie. Joe, we call ourselves Midwesters.
Right.
But surely all of the bit that's not the East or the West is not all Midwest, is it?
Well, no, because you've got like that Central America part, haven't you, that goes right down the middle.
But you've got the South is surely...
Midwest to me would be the middle of the country, but over to the west, I don't know.
Just to the left of it.
Excuse my ignorance.
I know, me too. Lynn saying hi from... I've got a place name coming up here. Lynn says hi from Seattle, Washington on the west coast. Carla says hi from Alamogordo. Alamogordo in New Mexico. I hope I said that correctly.
Yes, South America.
Pam's in Southern California, or SoCal, as I think the kids call it.
Yeah.
Crafty Angie's in California. Cecilia says, I'm in Missouri. Middle bit is what she says. There you go. Anne says, I'm in the Twin Cities. It's called the Midwest. The Midwest, the Plains, and the South. So that's what it is. Midwest.
And the South.
I'm guessing the Midwest is the middle bit. The Plains is a bit at the top, and then the South is at the bottom.
Yeah,
every day's a school day. We'll get a BAFTA for this.
It's like Education 101, isn't it? Loving it.
We were right the first time. It's dimensional length, apparently. There you go.
Fantastic, thank
PP
you.
Pam's got us right there.
Excellent.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Right, Jan, I know you've got more to squeeze in. What's next?
Right, we're going to go for that scattered foliage now. We're going to take it on to sort of the next level, and we're going to emboss those pigment inks, which is what they were actually designed for, because they stay wetter for longer, certainly than a quick dry ink. You've seen us do it and literally rub the ink and it's as dry as. Now, you can stencil with the quick dries. There is a space for those, and they're great from the point of view of not smudging the ink. You can stencil, like Joseph said at the top of the show, you can use your water reactive inks. Then you can spritz them and you get that sort of almost watery colour effect where they bleed a little bit. So, you know, if that's your kind of thing, have a go. Just have a play with them, basically. It's all good fun. I'm going to stay with the opaque inks because that's what we've got on the show. And I've brought out sort of various bits and pieces that I need to start and heat emboss, including the quiet heat tool. So first of all, I'm going to use my little anti-static pad, and we've talked about this several times. We've got that lovely, I love this one. It's hard to say because every time you get one, it's a new favourite, but this one came up so well. I don't know whether it's just the colourways that I've picked, but it was really striking. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to work on white card first, and I'm going to ink it with our lovely jet black pigment ink and then emboss that with clear powder so that the black ink shows through. And then we're going to swap over to black card and we're going to ink that up with the white pigment ink and then add white embossing powder. So we're going to get like a positive negative time thing, and it does look really striking. So I'm going to do one bit at a time. I'm going to work on the white one. Now if you haven't seen these little anti-static bags before, they are just full of like a chalky substance. So if you don't have one, something like talc does the job, or cornstarch. And what it's doing, I just rub it into the surface
Good use
of the
for your
card.
old tights, apparently.
Pardon?
Your old tights.
Yes, just put them
Pop them in there, yeah.
Yep. And literally, once you've done it, try not to touch the card again because oil's in the skin. I always put hand cream on before I start the show, so there's a little bit of grease there. And embossing powder will stick to anything. It literally will. So what I'm trying to do is get rid of any residue, any grease off there, in the hope that once we've embossed, we're going to get a really nice finish on it.
When people say about using old pairs of tights to turn them into anti-static bags, I always think, what denier would they be? Because if they were too low, it'd just all fall out. You'd want a really good sort of opaque pair, wouldn't you? Like a good 50
only
denier.
You could think about what denier pairs of tights are, Joe, honestly.
Well,
I
you
hate
need
the
to know.
things. I think they're the devil's work tights.
Do you?
Absolutely detest them with a loathing, yeah. Honestly, I would rather not wear anything. I had to wear tights for so long in
They're
previous
not called
jobs.
tights in the US, are they? I'm sure people... Are they called pantyhose?
Pantyhose, yeah, absolutely. I just absolutely detest them. Yeah, never wear them unless I absolutely had to, and I think I'd need paying for it. So, literally, get myself set up. I've got the clear embossing powder at the ready. I've got that gorgeous black ink, and because we're in a bit more open design, I've gone for one of the Spectrum Noir sponge applicators this time. So, moved on a little bit from my my little finger daubers. And again, just loading that up, and these ink pads are so juicy, they really are. So this is the one that's going to test me as to whether I'm going to end up covered in ink. So again, you can see.
Wow,
this
coverage is amazing.
And you can see how wet those inks are because I can actually hear under the studio lights, I can see the actual ink glistening. So it stays wet long enough for you to do the whole stencil and then take it off and emboss it all in one go. So you don't have to worry about doing it in sections. This ink's actually designed that way. In artistic terms, any of you that do artwork and things like that, it's referred to as open time. So the ink stays open for longer, which means it just stays wet for longer, so that you can start and add embossing powders and things like that to it. But the black one, honestly, it's just really, well, they're all juicy, but I think it shows up more with the black. And the black on the white, honestly, when I did this, I thought, wow, what a brilliant contrast. So again, build up those layers, make sure that you've got plenty of ink. My ink pad's running away. Plenty of ink in there, and where I've actually put the piece of paper over the top, I'm not too worried because I'm only touching the stencil, not the actual ink underneath. And then I'm trying to be as quick as I can here because I know the time it disappeared this morning when we were in this morning. So again, just to take that off the back now carefully and just look at that reveal.
Wow.
Just this on its own is stunning.
That looks like it's been professionally printed or screen printed, doesn't it?
Now, I don't know whether you can pick up on the camera there. We'll ask our Charlotte to have a zoom, but it is still glistening, the ink. It's still wet there. It really is. I don't know whether you can actually see it in the light there. But I can just see it in the middle here. where you can see that it is still shimmering because it's still wet, yeah? So inks for purpose, this is what I always say, you know, if you're wanting something to dry quickly, get those quick dry inks out, that's what they're made for. And then on this one, I'm just using clear embossing powder because I want that black ink to show through. But what it's going to do is give me a nice glossy finish on it. Now, I use a lot of the clear embossing powder, which is why I've decanted it into my really expensive designer takeaway container.
Fantastic.
I just find it easier to use that way rather than trying to get it all back into those little pots. But when you see me use the white one, we're going to use the little pots. So again, just a quick clear up, and then we're going to get the invisible, the quiet heat tool out.
Amazing.
Here we are. Our producer,
The
Johnny,
highlight
is
of
so
Johnny's day.
excited. Are we ready then? It's on.
Yeah.
It's on. It's definitely on.
Is it on?
It's on. You hear it?
Just.
So, key when
It's
you're
not
embossing.
actually plugged in, Jan, I can see from...
It is definitely plugged in and it's very hot. I always challenge them when they start this. Say, right, come put your hand under it and tell me whether it's on or not. Because it does get very, very hot, but it's sort of slightly slower than the directional ones. And it's just something I've used over the years and got so used to that I use it for everything. So, trick with embossing is to get it up to temperature. So literally just leave it on for a second or two, because when you apply heat to cardstock, it will warp slightly. So the quicker you can do this, the better. And I learned sort of early days that by holding it over the cardstock while it's warming up, you're putting heat onto the card for longer than you need to. So I'm literally going to, again, heating from the top, heating underneath. There's a school of thought there, one or the other. I've heard people say that when you heat it from underneath, you get a smoother finish. It does tend to go a little bit pitted when you work from the top, but I don't mind that. But for the purpose of the camera, I'm going to hold my heat tool underneath. I'm going to start in this corner, and you'll be able to see it go from that sort of frosty look, where it's got the powder on it, to that lovely glossy black there. So it's just, you can see straight away it's starting to warp. But can you see in this top corner where the black's coming through?
There is a specific name for this, you know, when it goes from being like a powder to a liquid and then a solid. And someone told me it years ago, Jan, and I've never been able to find out what the word was again. It still haunts me to this day.
A powder to a liquid to a solid. I should know that really from my days of teaching science, shouldn't I?
Johnny's Googling it. I've Googled it before and not got anywhere,
It's almost like alchemy. I love it. I never get fed up of this. I've been doing this for years, and I still think it's one of the best techniques in crafting the heat embossing.
I can see you reshaping it a bit there as you go. Is that always a good tip, Jan?
I tend to, just so that it doesn't get too cold, because cardstock doesn't have that much of a memory. So as long as you work with it and sort of shape it back into place, I find that it does behave itself. And obviously, I've actually moved to stamping card now. We started out with Nina cardstock. I did forget to mention that, Joe. Because we're doing that extra technique where we're applying the heat now, I've gone for the stamping card because it's a bit thicker than the Nina, and it will withstand the heat that little bit better. But can you see how you've got that
so
beautiful
amazing, the black
glossy
on the white.
black finish? So we'll just finish that off. Try not to burn the fingers, because even though they laugh about it not being switched on, it is extremely hot. So yeah, just to finish, there's a little bit there and a little bit in the middle. You can see it just goes nice and glossy to finish. So if I bring this up to the camera now and see if we can catch the light with it, can you see?
Oh wow, yeah, I can really see that.
Absolutely stunning, and I just love that black gloss finish on the white there. So that's going to be first part. And then I've just got a little thin strip of the black, and I want to do the same again, but this time I'm going to use white. So just in between that, so that we really don't get any contamination, I'm just going to take my wet wipe and get rid of some of that black ink, because I don't want to get the white ink in there. So literally I've just used a piece of paper towel. I've got a bit of wet wipe, or it could just be kitchen paper, bit of water there in my spritzer, and I'm just going to try and clean most of that off as quick as I can, so that we can reuse that stencil. Now if you do this onto scrap card, you've perhaps seen me do this before, where you get that sort of ghost image underneath. Nice. Obviously I've just used a piece of kitchen paper under there today, but just to bring that up. And then what I want to do this time is I'm going to use the little anti-static bag again, because we're going to carry on with the heat embossing. So again, just literally rubbing it into the card, and that protects it from all those fingerprints and things like that. I was just wondering where my piece of paper's gone, and I've just used it. I haven't had to clean the...
Carol's with you. She says, me too, Jan. Hate pantyhose. Must have been designed by a man, is what she says.
Oh, honestly, they're the worst things out. But for some jobs, and I really feel for people, you know, like the girls in the NHS, because I think they have to wear tights as part of their uniform.
Really? I didn't know that.
Oh, they oh no, just make me cringe.
Just no. Will these go through, do these only fit through the original? If we were to use them as an embossing folder, do they only fit through the original? Would they go through the junior?
They will go through the junior, yeah, because you can actually move them along.
Okay.
So if I grab one of my junior plates, the 7 inches wider than here, obviously, so it wouldn't fit through in one go like that. But if you pop this into the, mind you, I suppose that's defeating the question, isn't it? Because you would need the large junior to turn the plate sideways. Yeah. So yeah, to go through portrait, as it would do through the Gemini Junior, they are a little bit too wide.
Awesome, always good to know.
To that. I tend to use my junior plates with the large Gemini, so I would literally pop it through like this and leave that little bit hanging and then swap it over so that I'd got this bit in the but that would only work if you'd got that ability to go sideways through the large Gemini. So yes, if you were wanting to emboss them, which we are going to do later,
awesome,
you would need that bigger plates on there.
Gilmore says, time to clear my cart and get these ordered. Loads of you going for these now. It's getting very, very busy. Barbara's going for them as well. Kim's gone for them and the swash stamps. Adriana has placed an order for the wobbler box and the nesting layering dies, and Mary Lee, very, very much enjoying your demos. And Kathy says, Jan and her high-tech tools, eh?
So what I've done there is that little strip of black that we're working with, I've laid the stencil back over what we've just done, and I've literally popped the card right now because I want it to give the illusion that that pattern is following all the way through. And then we can take that piece out. Now what I did with this one, you could use your sticky ink for this. So if you've got our watermark ink, this would work to catch the white embossing powder. All right, but I'm actually going to use our white pigment ink. It's not something that we use very often, this one, and again, techniques galore with just the white. That's something I could do on another show for you. So again, I'm going to do exactly the same. I'm going to push that white through here, and again, because it stays nice and wet, we can pop the white embossing powder over the top. So again, just nice and quick, pushing this through here.
Rhonda says, Joe, would it be an exothermic reaction?
Ooh.
It wasn't the word I was thinking of, but I like it.
Oh, that sounds very technical, doesn't it?
A lot of people saying
exothermic, so the heat on the outside.
Exothermic reaction.
Yeah.
Pam says, love watching the colour change when you apply the powder. Always. It's definitely an ASMR moment. What is it, Charlotte?
ASMR.
ASMR. Autonomous sensory meridian response. When you have a, like, you know, when something, you know, like this, the sound of popping bubble wrap would be ASMR. The feel of someone stroking your back of your neck is ASMR. It's that kind of something that you look, see or feel that makes you feel a bit, ooh.
My excuse is that I only taught primary school children, so I don't know all these fancy terms.
Oh, I think it's a new one. It's something the kids are saying, Jan. Yeah,
right. I'm going to say that's my excuse, and I'm sticking to it.
It's a buzz term, I think.
Right.
Deborah says, me too. Love watching it transform. Laura says, I find it more amazing. You can melt embossing powder from under the card. I didn't know that. And For Holiday says, I think I want these. I keep saying I have enough, and well, you know how that goes. Absolutely, especially when they're brand new designs.
So you can see there, just the white on there looks really nice. Just the white ink on it gives it a nice effect. But what we're going to do now is actually pop some white embossing powder over the top of this one, and that white ink is going to grab. As I say, you could have used the watermark one. So whereas we look as if we're using a lot of powder, it literally just pops back into the pot. So again, cover the areas there, give it a tap.
Oh, endothermic, not exothermic, apparently.
Endothermic.
Endothermic.
Ah, see, all these terms that we're learning.
No, I'm not a clue what that means.
Never too old to learn, I always think. So again, pop that one on, and then we're just going to melt this one. So we're going to bring the heat tool out again, And then I've got one that I've actually used this and put together. So rather than making the card this time, you'll see what it looks like. And honestly, I was blown away by this one. I really liked it. So again, we'll just heat it from the top this time to show you the difference. It doesn't make a lot, but you can see, I just think sometimes you can see better when I heat it from underneath. But you can see now at the top there where it's gone pure white, rather than that sort of opaque colouring. So again, pop it round. And just once it's turned, move on to the next part. Don't be tempted to hover over it too long. Otherwise, you find that the embossing powder almost sinks back to the level of the card.
Right.
Whereas it should actually feel slightly raised when you've done heat embossing. So it's not the best. I've got a little bit missing here where I don't think I'd put enough ink through. But when we put these two together now, you can see that that pattern flows one into the other. All right, so I'm just going to have a little clean up on there just to make sure we've got rid of all the ink. And then if I bring you this one in, can you see how that looks on an actual card? So I've got it round this way. I've used the black and white at that side. And then that's how we sort of got to it. Matted and layered it on a little tiny bit of silver just to break it up from the black. Layer of black behind it. I've used some grey cardstock out of my stash for the actual card. And then just any sentiments will work with these. And then I didn't actually like it with the seam showing, although it would work like that. So I actually chose to put the black ribbon through there. And again, you know, you've got something there that's just really, really different. And I think it was striking with that black and white, almost like a positive, negative kind of effect going on.
Yeah, really amazing. It is a really, really striking one. Terry Tom says, Jo, was it thermography or thermographic? No, it's not that one either. We can never find it. Maybe it's wrong. Maybe someone told me the word and it was made up, like most of mine are. Dana says there's nothing so striking as black and white. Dana agrees black and white is stunning. Tony loving the white embossing powder on the black cardstock. So pretty. Again, something, Jan, I'd imagine you can do with any of the different designs that we've got in this collection for
any
you.
of the designs, any colour embossing. I just wanted to go with that black and white theme, but it would just as nice, you know, imagine that design embossed in the green for the foliage and then putting your embossing powder over the top of it. Any of them will work.
Yeah, absolutely. Yep. Let me run you back through exactly what you're getting in here then. So you've got the polka dots, which is this one just here. That's coming in there for you. You also then have the abstract swirls available. You've got your beautiful butterflies. This one here is a scattered foliage you've just seen Jan working with. There is the cute florals. You've got your love hearts, the elegant trellis, and also the rosebud floral. You're going to get all 8 of those brand new stencils for that incredible price. Don't forget, you're also going to get triple points as well. Now, something else on the show. Remember, we also have a 3 for 2 across all of the Pigment ink pads. I'll run you through the names so you can pick from Bordeaux, Chinese Red, Orange, Fuchsia, Anthracite, Twilight Grey, Misty Morning, Smoke Plume, Green Topaz, Frosty Jade, Baby Blue, Spring Meadow, next slide please, Seal Brown, Sandstorm, Jet Black, Pumice, Oasis, or Pure White. They are the ones that are available. Head over to the website, crafterscompanion.co.uk.com.eu. Hit that shop the show button where you'll see all of those colours there that are available for you. Pam says, wowzers trousers. That's absolutely gorgeous and so elegant. Mom 4 Boys says, Jan made me buy these and the Pigment ink pads. I think I have some, but I'm at work, so just in case, I got myself a few more. Jan made me do it. Jan made me do it. Right, Jan, are you ready for another demonstration?
Yes, I'm going to add some texture paste this time. So as I say, I'm trying to show you as many different techniques because essentially, you know, they're all the same size stencil, they're different backgrounds, and like Jo says, you could do any of these designs that I've done with any of the actual stencils. You know, it doesn't have to be this one for that particular technique or this one for that technique. So any of you know, so we started out at the top of the show using those matting and layering dies. We could have used this one, you know, just the same. So this one's actually the polka dots. And again, I'm just going to tape that into place there. I've started to get dirty fingers already, so we'll hope we're not too bad with this one. And then I'm going to use 3 different colours on here and then apply some texture paste through the stencil as well. So I've actually got Let's have a look. We want Oasis, Lemon Tonic and Spring Meadow for this one. So 3 totally different colours now. I know at the top of the show we were talking about whether, you know, whether you can mix the colours, have them from the same one. This is actually, and I've even sort of gone, you know, the lightest tone, but the Lemon Tonic's actually the mid-tone because I wanted a nice strong yellow in there. So again, we'll just get out, and you can see how useful, if you've not got the daubers, they really are quite useful for this particular technique. So again, you know, 1 for each colour family. We'll get, and I just love that. I love those, all those colours. They used to laugh at me when I worked in the store, Joe, because everything had to be in colour order.
Right.
So if we'd got products on the shelf that were colours, they went from yellow into orange, into red, into pink, and so on. Like, oh God, she's at it again. You know, and it was just OCD that, you know, that's my excuse. So again, there's not really any, you know, colour order with these. They're all very sort of similar because obviously yellow and blue make the green. So you've got colours that are quite close to each other on the sort of colour wheel there. But again, I'm just going to use that technique where we put different colours in different areas. Now you can do this. It looks nice if you do them in stripes of colour. Or again, you know, this time I'm just going to go for that sets of 3. So we're going to have some of the Spring Meadow. Love this colour. It works beautifully with our Chartreuse Centura Pearl. It's a perfect match with it.
That's interesting, Jan, because we don't normally think about inking over things like Centura Pearl or, you know, coated cardstocks.
Yep, absolutely. Now, again, you would need to let them dry. And if I was using something like that, I'd probably use the quick dry inks rather than the opaque ones. But I meant colour-wise. For colour families, that Spring Meadow, as I say, is a perfect match for the Chartreuse Centura Pearl. So it comes up really nice. So for matting and layering and things like that, it's a nice one to use. So again, that's the first one. Second one I'm going to go with is the blue there. So this is Oasis, which is the lightest one out of the turquoise range. And again, I'm just going to fill in some of the gaps now. So I'm not too precious about where it's going. You know, I just want to sort of fill in sets of 3 areas. So we'll go for a little bit of blue there. We'll go for a little bit of blue just down, in this corner here. And again, you know, not applying a massive amount of pressure. I've gone back to the daubers just because I'm doing smaller areas. And then we'll go across that middle section there. You could just as easily use your sponge applicators. If you prefer to use these ones, techniques will still work. I just find that I have a little bit more control when I'm using more than one colour when I use the finger daubers. And you can see there how we can make like another shade by mixing them. You've got like a limey green.
Sometimes we forget how well these blend together, don't we, the pigment ink
They
pads?
were designed for this purpose. And I just love them. You know, every time I come, I've nearly always got the opaque pigments with me. They're the ones that I have sat on my desk. And I do use the others. They do have, you know, fit for purpose. But I just love the way these are. And they're almost a little bit more pastel in tone, although they're the same colour families.
Sort of
I
chalky,
find that they're
aren't
a little bit more pastel because of that chalk element, so that opacity in them. But this one's gorgeous, just really nice and vivid. So again, just to fill, missed a bit there, fill those last areas in. And again, you know, there's a little tiny tinge of the turquoise, but not enough to worry about from the point of view of picking the ink up off the stencil there. So we'll go for that reveal in a second because I want to add now a little bit of texture paste. So I'm just going to move all those out of the way, and I've brought my Cosmic Shimmer Aurora Sparkle, which I think is back on stock on the website. I know when we actually launched this, it just went berserk. And if I open this one, it's just full of lushness. It's like it's got that sort of iridescent look to it. So it looks white, the actual carrier in it, but there's glitter in there that's got all that iridescent sort of colours in it. So what I'm going to do then is just take my palette knife, and I'm not going to cover the whole thing. I just want to do sort of parts of it. So I'm just going to give that a wipe over just to get some of that ink off the surface of the stencil there. I don't want to contaminate the sparkle paste too much with the colour. So just to give that and take some of the residue off the stencil. And then literally take some of this, And again, don't think about it
So
too
is
much.
this translucent then?
Yes, yeah. So I want a bit there. Yep, I want a bit just there. As I say, it doesn't have to be an exact science. You don't need to cover the whole thing. You know, if you wanted to, then the texture pastes are made. If you wanted to do this on dark card and use texture paste instead of an ink, absolutely go for it. But I just wanted to add a little bit of shimmer to give that effect over the top of the colours. And because you've got that sort of iridescent nature, it's going to literally bring the colour through that texture paste.
Nice.
So again, just in areas, not too bothered where it is, no sort of design to it. And again, I would actually try and use up what's on your palette knife purely because it's picked up a bit of ink. I don't necessarily want to put it back in my pot.
Okay,
so just make sure that you've got...
It's like buttering toast, isn't it?
It sure is, yeah, absolutely. Just get
And I've
rid
had
of that
plenty of
product.
practice at that, Jan.
Pardon?
I've had plenty of practice at that.
What, buttering toast?
Yeah.
So what we're going to do now then is just take the tape off. Okay, and then we've got that reveal. Now, as far as the texture paste is concerned, this is one that I'd be making sure I cleaned my stencil as quickly as I can, because if it dries on here, even though it's a water-based product, once it dries on, it seems to be much harder to actually move. So I'm going to pop a little bit of scrap kitchen paper there. We're going to do the reveal. Are we ready?
Oh,
and then I'm just going to
wow.
give this one a clean. So you can see if I tilt this now, we've got just areas of that. Some of it's still the solid
It's got a
ink.
bit of an ostrich leather feel to it
Yeah,
as well.
and some of it's got that beautiful sparkle. So if I bring, well, I'm going to say I'll bring the one in that I've done, but I've done, you know me, can't just do one thing to it. I'll bring that in a second. So I'm just going to give that a good, generous sort of coating of water, because all the Cosmic Shimmer products are water-based. And then literally, again, just push this off.
You'll
if
love
you've
this
got
comment.
a little water bath.
Joy says, I could listen to Jan all day. Her voice is so ASMF. But it's not ASMF, it's ASMR. So ASMF, I don't know what that means. Don't Google it. Do not Google it.
So again, just to get rid of the surplus of it. All I mean by a water bath is simply just some kind of container. So it may be a lid off a box with a little bit of warm water in. Drop it into the water, and while ever it's in water, it won't set. So then you've got the option then to take them and clean them at the end of your crafting session. But obviously while we're here, I just need to make sure that that didn't set on it. So we've got our piece to work with. It will take about 30 minutes or so for that product to dry. All right, so I'm going to show you, the one that I did earlier started out like that and ended up like this. All right, so you can see the bit in the middle.
Yeah.
I'm not kidding, it had the sparkle on it.
Nice.
There, look. So it was like this, and the reason it now looks like that is because, again, I've been in those nesting dies.
You're obsessed with
I've
these, aren't you?
got the rectangles this time, and I've cut pieces out, and this is what I want to actually create for my background. So you can see here where we've got these pieces coming in.
Ah, see, I thought the waist was actually your project.
Could be.
I thought you were going to put something else behind it.
You could use this and put something behind it. You could make all these. I'm not going to throw this away.
No.
Because a bit of acetate behind here, you've got perfect shaker windows going on.
Absolutely.
So it could be that we do something else with that at a different time. But what I've actually done is taken some mirror card, so just some turquoise mirror card from one of the collections, and literally popped tape on the back of these, and I've just made the mirror card slightly bigger than the piece that I was working with, so that I can leave a little gap all the way around the outside there. So don't worry that there's a gap in the middle. So you can see now that we've got those lined up. Pull those tapes out to secure it. I'm not too worried about this because I'm going to cover this bit up. And then we'll pop that on the card blank as a matten layer there. And then again, I want you to use these in conjunction with things that you've got in your stash, things that you may have bought recently. We've had lots of new launches on. And one of the ones that I fell in love with that I'm thinking of using for my cards this Christmas are those gorgeous little snowmen stamps. I just think they are so cute. I love anything like this. Opportunity to colour, Jan's in it. So what I did was stamp him out. and just make myself a little topper. And I've used alcohol pens that were similar colours to what I've used on the background, and this is going to sit in the middle there and cover up
that is so
that particular gap. So literally we're just going to pop some, and I think I'm going to go for some wet glue on here again, because I'm working on to different, I've got mirror card, I've got plain cardstock, I've got ink, and I've got the glitter paste. I'm literally just going to pop a little bit of the wet glue, which will soak into any of those mediums and give you a little bit better stick on there. So we'll get them the right way up. I'm going to pop that. We'll just have it slightly off centre so that I can fit the sentiment. No, I'm going to stick with the centre there, like so.
Jan, can you press the cardstock against the dirty stencil and get a print?
Yes.
You can?
Yes, you can. You need to be quick, because even though the ink does stay wet, I found the easiest way of doing that, and it sort of gives you the emboss technique as well, is to actually pop it through the machine. So again, get the stencil face down. So say it was that one was covered in black ink earlier. Put it face down onto some spare card, and I'll show you the embossing combination for the plates in a second. And pop it through. The pressure from the machine not only gives you a slight emboss feature, but you'll get like the negative. So you'll get the ink in what is the gaps here, the white part, and then the spots would stay clear. So yeah, absolutely another technique going on there. So again, I've just used one of the sentiments off that same stamp set. So we've got those little snowmen there. Because we're going on to that texture paste, little bit of the wet glue there. We're going to pop this one at the bottom there, I think. And then I've just die cut a little snowflake out of a bit of the scrap mirror card that was left over, just as a decoration. So again, you know, things that you've got in your stash there. I'm just going to add a bit of wet glue as well. Whenever I'm going onto surfaces that are not just plain cardstock, I usually just add that little bit of wet glue to go with it. And my goodness, I've made a holy mess over here now, honestly. So when we turn that one, you can see there how, again, we've got that
really
stencil
cute
in the background, but just by chopping into it, gives it a whole different look. So don't think, you know, that because it's a 7x7 stencil, you've got to keep it in that particular style. Now, a lot of the cards that I'm making today are that sort of 7x7 square. But again, you know, you can do any design, anything, cut up them, make them whatever shape you want them to be.
Amazing.
So that one's the spots. Polka dots, not
lots
spots.
of people loving that. Leslie T says OMG, loving this. Carrie says love the little snow family. And Katie Isley says every single project that Jan has taken us through has been amazing. It really, really has. And remember, you can do all of these projects with all the different stencils, which is awesome. So this one here is the polka dots. This is one that you've just seen Jan using a moment ago. You will also get the abstract swirls. You've got the butterflies. Then we also have here the scattered foliage. This one is the cute florals. You've got the love hearts, the elegant trellis, and also the rosebud floral in there for you as well. $34.99 or $46.95, I should say, to get all of those home. Under £28 or $38 as a platinum member. Remember, triple points across absolutely everything, but only for today. A third of our brand new launch stock has gone already on these. If you're watching this show back at a later date, definitely check the website for the current stock situation. Some other bits I want to just tell you about. That texture paste that you just saw Jan using. Different colours here for you. We've got Aurora Sparkle, a Lilac Blush, Polar White, Graceful Lilac, which is that one just there. There you are. So do grab a hold of all of those. It is really busy. I'm going to give you an opportunity to check out your baskets. I know you don't want to miss any of Jan's fabulous demonstrations. So whilst you do that, here's all the details of Club Inspire.
Welcome to Club Inspire, the crafters' companion community where you can feed your crafty obsession. Join our fantastic loyalty club today and receive 20% off your first order. We'll also give you 250 points to help get you started. Other benefits of joining Club Inspire include exclusive special offers and discounts for Club Inspire members only, exclusive sneak peek previews of brand new product launches, and of course the Club Inspire community group on Facebook, where you can access exclusive content such as downloads, offers and inspiration, and of course you can chat and share your makes with other members. You'll receive 1 point for every £1, dollar or euro you spend, and the more points you receive, the more benefits you'll unlock. So what are you waiting for? Sign up, join the club and start rewarding yourself today.
Welcome to Crafters TV. With more than 35 hours of live shows each week, it's your home for all things craft. We shine the spotlight on new and innovative crafting products with live tutorials and demonstrations. Join our family of craft experts where fun happens every day.
Quiet. Ah, the neighbours.
I'm all out of Zoom. I'm so lost without you. I'm not singing.
Lisa, if you email in, don't send a picture of your air fryer. Make sure it's something creative.
Get creative and craft along. With our amazing deals, your next craft project is just a click away. Tune in live 7 days a week, or you can watch us on Catch Up at crafterscompanion.com, Facebook, or our YouTube channels. You can chat to us, craft along, and meet new friends by joining our online crafting community.
You entertain us, you give us a community to talk, in the chat. That wouldn't happen without you guys. It's like Crafters Companion is magical. There's magic here.
Joy, there's not a dry eye in the studio here. Debbie's welling up, I'm welling up.
There's a show for every type of crafter, from first-time dabblers to full-time makers. Crafters TV, create every day.
Absolutely, we create every day. Mayhem, sometimes laughter, sometimes even beautiful, beautiful cards and projects. There's always going off here. Jan never makes a boring card, says Kathy Lear. Always gorgeous. Beth says how versatile these stamps are. When you use the tri-blend markers, which ink is better to use? The alcohol resist or can you use the opaque, asks Kathy.
Yes, you can. The thing with alcohol markers, the best way I can explain it is like opposites. So if you're using an alcohol colouring medium, you need a water-based ink. So our Finesse alcohol proof ink is a water-based ink. The opaque inks are a water-based ink, so yes, they will work together. If you were wanting to use a watercolour medium, so things like our aqua markers, then you would need an alcohol-based ink. So it's almost like opposites attract.
Okay.
Now we've tried to do the work for you with the Finesse range, but all of our ink pads, the quick dry, the water reactive and the opaque ones are all water based. So all of those would work with your alcohol markers to colour with, yeah.
Brilliant. I hope that answers your question. Right, I need to tell you about the balloon sentiments. Busy on these. I can see why when they're on such a fantastic deal. And they really are great. Brilliant with the pigment ink pads. They look amazing if you choose to heat emboss them as well. You can get that really lovely sort of faux enamel effect with them. Not only do you get the main word, which in this one is love, but you also can get the ability to create the stamps, the rest of the sentiment using a stamp. So you've got love, you also have birthday, friend, happy, there's baby, thanks, congrats, and then what you've also got here is we're calling this, I always forget the name of this, Celebrations Essential. So you've got all your different stamps here that you can use to create these together, and then all the embellishments that you might need in there as well. All of that comes your way, $44.75 or $55.73, and of course great platinum price there. Don't forget triple points on this and everything in the show and across the website until the end of today, which is amazing. Joe, you and Jan are and the rest of the team are magic. I love you all. Please can John say happy birthday to me for tomorrow, please?
Oh, now that's a way to get him back in here, isn't it? John!
Can you hear him? Where is he? John? Rachel says that this would make Hannah's day. Come on, John, let's wait for him.
Where is he?
Come on, John. Is he coming?
Is he running?
We'll wait, don't worry, it's fine. I'll just have a sip of water while we wait.
We'll wait, yeah. Come on, he's coming, I can see him.
Here he is. Come on, come in. You're going to have to speak into my microphone. Can you please say happy birthday to Hannah Hicks for tomorrow?
Happy birthday, Hannah Hicks, for tomorrow.
There you are.
Look
There you
at
go,
that.
Hannah.
Ask and you
I
shall
know.
get.
Yeah, there you are. Public service broadcasting. That's what I say we are. Don't you agree?
Just
Jan?
like that. Yeah.
There you are. Anyway, what's next then, Jan?
Right, so we're going to move on again. I wanted to say I try to fit as many techniques as I can. So this is one I get asked about a lot, in that can you emboss stencils? And the answer is yes, you can. Now, what I would say is, we talked about this earlier, that the stencils are very, very thin. So they're only, I would say, sort of maybe about 1 millimetre thick. So you're not going to get a deep emboss, but you will get an impression from them. And I'm going to show you how to do that next. So what I've done again is I've taken some of my Nina cardstock and I've used some of my larger square nesting dies that I've got at home. And I've actually cut into the piece here so that I've got a frame and I've got an inside part. So what I'm going to do is emboss the inside part but leave the outside frame flat so that you get a little bit of contrast. So I'm going to pop the frame to one side. Well, having said that, I just want to line it up so that we get the stencil over the whole thing. All right, and I'm going to take a little bit of tape and then hold this in place. Make sure we've got it as square as we can get it. And then I just want to take my central piece here and tape it on the back there so that it stays in place. Now, embossing stencils then, what we need to think about is, this one's the key. So again, even though I've got my large plates, I know this is going to cover the area that I want to work with. So you need the rubber, the silicone embossing mat there. And the idea is that because this is so soft, the pressure from the machine will allow this to press into the back of the stencil and it will push that area up. So you need this on the base. So I've put this onto my clear plate and then I'm going to put the cardstock on top. So the idea is that the rubber silicone, or the silicone here, is going to squish the card through any of the gaps in the stencil and give us that embossed look. Now, rule with the Gemini, and this has always stuck in my mind since I very first started with Gemini, is that whenever you use the embossing mat, the magnetic shim has to come out. Those two should never ever go through your machine at the same time. Otherwise, you're pretty much setting yourself up for damaging the bits that's the softest, the least wearing will get damaged, and that's your embossing mat. So take the magnetic shim out. I'm just going to pop that one on top and our final cutting plate on top, and then pass that through the Gemini. And it doesn't matter whether you have the stencil facing up or facing down. It works both ways because you've got the rollers at the same distance anyway, but it allows that squidgy mat to sort of do its job and push that stencil through. So let's see if we can get that on the camera so that I can show you, whoops, what I meant there. Everything's stuck to my plate now, so we'll just pop that down for a second, pop those back under there out of the way, and then when we just lift this, I'm just going to take it to one side and see, it's not a massive impression, but you can see there how we've picked up those hearts.
I like it.
And
I think it's nice and subtle.
It almost looks as if it's pressed the line work into the card, but it's actually brought the hearts out. And if we turn it over, you're going to get the complete opposite, where it's brought the line art forward and pushed the hearts back. So whichever side you want to work with. Now I'm going to leave this in situ because we're going to add a little bit of ink over the top now as well. So I'm just going to bring in some very pale pink, and I just need to swap out one of my sponges there. And because it's raised now, I'm sort of quite comfortable in knowing that this is just going to catch the actual hearts that are raised. Now I only want this to be quite pale. I'm not too worried about it being too dark. And then the reason I lined the stencil up at the beginning is because I want to do the frame as well. So we're going to ink the frame and again make it look as if that design is working right across the whole panel. And I've got one done for you. I'll show you what I mean in a second. So when we actually just pop this through, and the pink tulip is a very, very sort of pale, delicate pink. It's lovely. So again, just to hold it in place, I'm just going to grab my even though it's got a bit of the other colour on, just to hold that stencil there, because what you'll find is with the opaque inks being wet for longer, we talked about that, if you put your finger in them now, it'll leave a fingerprint in them.
Right.
It'll take
Craft
a bit of the
scene
ink.
investigation style.
Yeah, it's not just about protecting my fingers from the ink. I don't want to actually leave a big sort of fingerprint mark in the middle of the design. So just by using the paper to hold it there, it's just protecting the work underneath. And what this is doing is catching those raised areas now, because we've embossed it first. It's making the raised part of the stencil coloured, which is going to emphasise the fact that that is actually embossed, and the line work in between the design is still flat. So it's giving you a bit more illusion there that we've got something going on. So it is very, very pale there, but you should be able to see when I lift this up. Whoops. So we'll just pop that to one side for a second. So when we take this off now, just look, I just think it is stunning. Really, really nice effect again. And when you get close up, there's actually a groove where all the line
So
work
it gives you
is.
loads of extra texture.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And then what I did is take the stencil off this one, and just to line it up, I've left this one in situ here.
Khaki Blue's got a great question. Would 2 squishy mats make it emboss deeper?
You could try.
If you like
but
double
if you
it over?
make the plate combination too thick, it will damage those squishy mats, so just be careful.
Okay.
Just be careful with that. It's whether you're willing to risk one of your squishy mats and see. It's not something
do they
I've tried.
stretch if you put them in there too
theory,
many?
I get where you're at, that there's more squishiness will push it through further. But if you've altered the depth of the plate combination, the pressure from the machine could damage those mats. So it's sort of like depends whether you've got a spare one to try or not.
There you are.
So what I'm going to do here is pop this back together, and this time I want to put the stencil back in place, so where we've embossed it, but then I'm going to hold the frame and take the middle bit out. All right, and I just want to ink the frame now. And I'm going to move down to the next pink, which is the fuchsia, and ink around the frame. Now, just to speed up a little bit, because I can see time's ticking away, I'm going to show you what I actually mean by the whole thing now. So you can see when we put it back together,
Oh, I love that.
I've got that piece in the middle that's embossed and raised, and then we've got the frame around the outside, which all lines up with the stencil, so it just flows straight over into the frame, but you've got that darker edge round it, so done on 2 separate parts. Now I might actually stick this over the top, because I'll explain to you where I went wrong with it, because we all make mistakes, and I made the mistake of actually popping this on in the place where I wanted it, wherever I had the stencil, and sticking it down on top. And then I run it through with the pressure to get my embossing. And when I took the tape off, you can see where it's just snagged.
I see.
It might not be obvious on the camera, but there's little areas here where it's snagged my cardstock. So what I might do is actually stick this one over the top. I think it'll give us a better finish. So I'm just going to grab some Collal glue and do that quickly. And then we're actually going to just decorate this one as well to make it into a finished card project. So again, apologies for staying with the squares. A lot of the cards that I've done today are squares, but I just think, because we're working with a 7x7 stencil, it's the obvious shape to go for. But again, you might want to do this on a 6x6 design. So again, just reduce, the sizes of your cardstock and take it down to a smaller. Just use part of the stencil. There's nothing to stop you actually, taking it smaller. If you want to take it bigger, we said these actually reline up. So you can see if I move this along, I'm still in the pattern. I've got stencil left to actually keep going if you wanted to do like a border or something like that. So with this one, I've brought some black and white twine here, which I'm just going to go around the edges of there. So I just want something to anchor. Well, I keep putting these in my bag like this, and I shouldn't, because they love sticking together, the red line tape. So again, I just want to take a couple of pieces to anchor the tape on the back here. And again, I'm just going to put one on there. And then I want to wrap it round, maybe 2, see how much we've got, 2, 3 times, that'll work, yeah, like so. And then anchor it again at the back and take off that excess there. We don't need that last little bit.
I love that technique, Jan.
So again, just got a little bit of decoration there. So again, we can pop it onto our card blank now. So we're going to pop this down flat, and I may as well stay, seeing as I've got my collal out and giving it an airing, because we're cardstock to cardstock there, I may as well carry on with this. And again, we've got the twine on the back of there, so if you wanted to put this on foam pads, you could, but it's not going to make that much difference on the front of the card there. So again, that one's going to go flat on here. And then it was like, right, well, what can I decorate with? You know, because you've got the means of making all these lovely backgrounds. So I thought, seeing as we were on the heart theme, we'd stay with that theme. And I have got some heart dies in my collection of metalwork at home. So what I've done is I've actually taken one of those dies and made myself a little topper, along with some of the alphabets there, which I've cut out of some pink and shadowed them with black. And smothered it in, I got a bit carried away there with the pearls, didn't I? But just to make myself a nice little topper there. And I've put that on foam so that this will actually go either side of the twine. And that's gone through.
We're all engrossed, Jan, with this demo.
Pardon?
Everyone's engrossed by this demonstration. Mesmerised.
And then I've got a couple, it's a set of like nesting hearts that I've got. So again, I'm just going to pop two of those little ones on as extra decoration here. So we've got one there, and we've got one to go by side of it. And then I'm like, right, just hugs on its own. I wanted something to go with it. So off we went in the stamp stash again, and I knew exactly what I wanted. And we found what we were looking for, sending in one of those many sets that we've all got. And I just want to pop this right at the top, pop it at a little angle there, move all this out of the way, and you can see there, we just need that collal to set there at the bottom. But we've got that central area that's got a little bit, when you touch it, you can feel that it's raised. Flat area around the side. And again, just something a little bit different by creating that frame to give you that sort of continuous effect with the stencil there.
Amazing, absolutely
Thanks for
gorgeous, and just
sending
one
hooks.
of so many different things that you can do with all of these amazing stencils. There's a lot of like jealousy. I'm not going to call it jealousy. Let's call it. It's a too strong a word, Jan, isn't it? Envy in the comments for Hannah. Hannah says, "Thank you so much." All in capitals. Love heart, love heart, love heart, love heart, love heart, love heart. Teresa says, "Oh, John, you've just made Hannah's day." Rhonda says, "Wait." All in capitals, exclamation mark, exclamation mark. I didn't get a birthday wish from John on September 1st.
Oh,
not fair.
Started something now.
Mary Pat's just sent lots of crying, laughing faces. Dana says, "Oh no, 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 no. The trouble that John has started now," in the comments. Deborah says, thanks CC, that's 1 million, one of the million reasons you are so great. Betsy says, "Love it. We need to see John more often. Bring on the cat calls, ladies," says Pam E. That was sweet. Joe, John and Jan pleasing the crowd. Cindy's loving all of Jan's demos. Yeah, still lots of questions about the mat, but as Jan said, yeah, it's designed to go through with one layer, so you know you're definitely not going to cause any damage. Monica says, "Oh my, I never thought of using tweezers to remove one of the pads for blending. So simple and so clean. I love it."
It's just an attempt to try and keep my fingers clean. Honestly,
I dread to think what I would look like if I tried to do some of these demonstrations you've done. It would just be absolutely everywhere. Let me whiz you back through the designs that you are getting included then in here. You are going to get your polka dots in there. This one here is your swirls. You've got your butterflies. This is your scattered foliage. Then you've got your cute florals. This is the hearts. Then you've got the trellis and the rosebud florals as well. All 8 of them are coming there for that price, which is amazing. Nefertiti says, "Jan is absolutely brilliant. I'm going to make all of these cards that Jan has made." Lots of you be saving this show by the sounds of it.
Have a go and show me your pictures. Honestly, I love to see what you guys have been up to. If you want to recreate them, go for it. Yep.
Also, Gilmore says, "Rhonda Crowley, how dare he? Does he not know you're in the fan club? He needs a punishment, don't you think?" LOL, LOL, LOL. I think that deserved a he on the end, to be honest. But right, We're going to do one more and then squeeze and demo the show. Is that right, Jan? Right, well, I'm going to go straight back to you then.
Right, okay. So again, this time I'm going to take the beautiful butterflies. I couldn't not finish the show without the butterflies. And my apology, I wanted to try and get all 8 designs in for you, but obviously we've only got the 2 hours. So we've managed 6 when we've done this one. Not too bad. So this time I wanted to show you sort of inking the card up first and then adding a darker ink over the top of it. So again, yeah, some of you might have seen me do this before, and this is one of the techniques I love. So opaque ink pads again, literally all over your surface. If you use a brown craft mat, it will work the same. Just ordinary tap water, give it a spritz to wake it up, and then I'm literally got my stamping card at the ready, and I'm just going to mop up that ink to get some colour onto my actual card there. So again, little bit on the side, little bit, just, and again, don't think about it, just get it onto that cardstock. All right, and then in between layers, we're going to just give it a go with the heat tool just to make sure that it's dry. So I will try and do that with one hand while I just clean this off with the other. Oh, this is like patting your head and rubbing your tummy at the same time. Thank you. All right, so again, just need it to be dry so that the next colour doesn't actually bleed into what's already there. And then I'm going to do exactly the same with, and again, I've mixed the colours because I've got turquoise, Oasis is from the turquoise, Ocean Blue's from the blue range. So again, I'm just going to pop some of this down exactly the same, spritz it again just to wake it up. It will go further if you actually spritz it. And again, I'm just going to sort of aim for where I've got gaps here and just pick up a little bit of that darker colour. All right, just to fill in some of the gaps there and actually make myself a background to work on. So again, don't think about it too much. Just go for it. Use the ink that you've got down on the table there. And if you haven't got sort of a craft mat or a glass mat,
this is looking fabulous, Jan.
You can use a ceramic tile, something like that, something that's non-porous, just to pick that ink up, and that will clean. You can see how it just comes straight off there, which is why I love my glass mat so much. And again, I'm just going to give it a quick dry because I want to make sure that that's dry.
I mean, are you though, Jan?
Pardon?
Are you drying it?
I am drying it.
Are you sure?
Come and put your hand under it. Nobody's taken me up on the offer. He's coming, look. He's going to do it. Are you ready? Be careful because it's hot, Joe. I don't want to burn you.
No, it's not on.
It's not always a...
It's not.
He's a tinker. How long can you hold your hand there for then?
No, it's not on.
We've got health and safety issues going on now, Joe. I'll have John back in now telling us off. So yeah, it is definitely on because the ink's dry now, honestly. Ow. And again, just make sure that that's I was going to say shard, which was a cross between shaped and card, all right? I'm glad that didn't come out as anything nasty. Shaped, just shape it back so that it doesn't sort of stay wrinkled. Then we're going to put the stencil back over it. Joe's still blowing his fingers over there now. And again, I'm just going to tape it in place, and then I'm going to jump to the Lagoon ink, which is the darker turquoise. And again, because these are quite a closed area, I'm going to take that little finger dauber, and I want to take all those gorgeous butterflies. This one's just covered in butterflies. So again,
Pammy's got toothache, wants to know if John has got any remedies for toothache.
Do you know, it's very good. He administered first aid when I cut my finger.
Did he?
Yeah, he did. He came and looked after me when he found the first aid kit.
Right, okay.
Oh dear. So yeah, just again, just nice, and you can spend much more time doing this at home. I know, I can see we have a clock here in the studio and I can see it ticking away, and we want to try and get this one finished.
We've got a
So
lot of, I say we, Jan, the royal we.
The royal we, of
You've got a
course.
lot done today in this show. I must say, really gone through the demos.
I've tried to get as many techniques in, and I mean, a stencil's a stencil, so what I've shown you today will work with any that you've already got in your stash, and I know a lot of you will have gone for these today. They really are a nice one to work with. Something a bit different.
Jan is absolutely brilliant, says Nefertiti. That's all she
Thank
says.
you.
Just that. Kate says, I'm going on to want to make all of Jan's cards. Deborah's loving the bling. Karen says, for the longest time I stayed away from hearts, but things like this have changed my mind. Loving Jan's lesson today, says Hadassah as well. Karen said, it's been a while since we had a Joe craft along. Maybe soon, Joe. Maybe soon. Yeah, we did go through a little phase of crafting along.
I did craft along last Saturday. But I've not actually had that many recently. I've been doing more of the launches. So, yeah, it was nice to do. We made a nice chocolate box, which I think is what won me the Project of the Week. Yeah.
Yes, it
so
is.
you can see now how we've got those lovely butterflies.
Beautiful.
Now, I have rushed that one. I'm going to show you the one that I did at home. And the only thing that I added different, and I didn't do it in the studio because I'm conscious of time and drying, was I actually added some gold paint, so any paint that you've got knocking about, watered it down with some water, and then I've just splattered it over the top. So this has actually got an extra layer on it, so you can just see the gold splats in there as well. The rest of it is just as we did here. So it's got the turquoise and the blue in the background, the lagoon butterflies over the top, and then I've matted it onto some satin gold card, and that picks up that lovely gold paint in there. So again, I want to put some ribbon on it, so I'm going to pop, I think, did I put anything on the back? No, so I think we might go, oh, shall we go at an angle? What am I going to put on it? Yeah, we'll go at a slight angle with that one. So I just need some more tape to secure that at the back. In fact, I think I've already taped the back of this one, so we'll stick it to there. Again,
lots of people chatting away.
You can see my gold cardstock's precious, so the middle comes out of it there.
Ah, okay. Pam E is reminding me that Rhonda Crowley is the founding member of the John fan club. No wonder why she is green with envy, Joe.
Oh.
Well, you know what it says? You know what it says? You know, it goes to show, if you don't ask, you don't get.
Yep.
That's the moral of the story, isn't it? Kay says, John, for the dots on the card, I've used... Jan, for the dots on the card, I've used the outline markers and love the look of making dots with them. You've got the silver in the middle with the colours on the outside, absolutely.
Oh,
right, John's on his way back in the studio, apparently.
Is he? He wouldn't want to leave anybody out, would he?
You owed Rhonda an apology for not wishing her a birthday on the 1st of September, and then a happy belated birthday. For
Rhonda, I'm so sorry. I know you're my biggest fan, and I love you for it. Thank you, and I'm sorry. And happy birthday, belated birthday.
For the 1st of September.
For the 1st.
Brilliant, wonderful. Thank you. I hope that helps, Rhonda. Hope that helps. A retrospective happy birthday there from John.
It was like a speech for
John,
receiving an Oscar there, weren't it?
We're getting you in. We're just, you know... It was like a sort of performing monkey. We just prod him out the back and bring him into the studio.
Bless him. Trying to do his job out there.
Yeah.
So again, I've used some really nice sort of deep turquoise card to make the card blank this time. And again, I've just done a nice, I like to decorate the insides as well as the outside, just so that you've got that link between the two. If you didn't want to put this in, then you could use, you know, one of the metallic pens would write beautifully on the turquoise. But just by popping a little space there, you've given yourself somewhere to write a message there. So you are so very special to me. And then this one just cried out. So I'm going to put my sentiment on, and then I'm going to leave the PS. So who can guess what the actual decoration's going to be on here then? So we've got a butterfly stencil, Joe. What's going on the top? He's not listening to me.
It's really beautiful.
What am I going to put on here then to finish it? There's only
know.
one thing can go on there, isn't there?
Deep in the comments here on the... It's going off. It's popping off. We're going to break the internet this way.
Something now, haven't we?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I've actually got my statement butterfly here, which I love. And I bring it out sort of on special occasions. And I've just layered it up with a combination of the blues, the turquoises and the gold. And that is going to be the main feature on the front of
that. Is a Grosserschmetterling, that one.
To hold it. I love it. Absolutely love it. I know there was a lot of concern about whether when it went out of stock, and we managed to get it back, and I know a lot of you bought this one. But yeah, I've just cut the 3 layers in the pale blue, in the turquoise, and then the gold. And again, if I turn that one round, it's just for you. And then we've got that detail inside again.
Really, really gorgeous.
Right, so
And
that's the final one today. I did have one more, but I'm not going to be able to fit that one in. So
we better,
I
guess
might
then,
bring it back. You know, there may be another chance to bring it back.
How are we going to decide which one is the card of the show? I don't know. I'll give you a second to get ready for card of the show. I just want to share with you that pure white pigment ink pad.
Yep.
Pigment pink pad, I think I was going with
pink
then.
pad.
Pigment pink pad, yeah.
Pigment ink.
This one right here, £4.99 or £6.95. Loads and loads of you are going for that at the moment. Loads of love for all of Jan's demos. Susan Griffith says, I agree with everyone about these demos. Jan needs a fan club too. So much teaching, some fun, never OTT, always clear and careful explanations.
Thank you.
Pam says, oh, I forgot about this technique. Thanks, Jan, for doing it again. Fred says, CC, excellent customer service strikes again. DHL lost my box. And CC is going to resend all the items that are still available. Oh, happy days. I love Jan's Inks demo, says Paula. She gives me the courage to be creative with them. Carol loving the demos as well. Deborah saved this show to watch it back at a later date. Don Marie says, I just checked out my basket. Could not stop shopping. Absolutely loved this show. Right, card of the show then, Jan.
Phew, we got through a few there then. So right at the top of the show then, we started off with that swirls and we did the green ombre, and we've got number 1 there, using the matting and layering dies to create that faux matte and layer that's actually flat. All right, so that's number 1. Number 2, we used the rosebuds and we made the DL landscape version there. So with the lilac and the green, number 2. Number 3 was the black and white with those gorgeous foliage, I was going to say stencil on there. Then we used the polka dots with the texture paste, and we made those little snowmen with the sparkly texture paste behind it. So that's number 4. Number 5 was the embossing. So we put this through the machine and actually embossed the stencil to make the hooks. And then number 6, we've just done the darker version over the ink background and used that butterfly as a statement piece there. That was number 6. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, yes, 6 altogether.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5 or 6. Get voting, Crafters TV or Crafters TV on Facebook, Crafters Companion over on YouTube. Yes, get your votes in. You've got about 2 or 3 minutes to get your votes in. Sharon saying, my son says, if you don't ask, the answer is always no. Words to live by. Absolutely. Hannah Hicks says, Jan's projects have all been amazing. Rhonda says, OMG, I am so puffed. Thank you. LOL. Puffed? I don't know what that means. It sounds like it could be dangerous. Pam says, oh, it's so incredibly sweet, John. There you go, Rhonda. Gilmer says, oh, John, Rhonda. Crowley, thank you on behalf of all of Rhonda's friends. Now she can rest at peace in a pile of mushy pieces. LOL. Four Holidays says, thank you, CTV and John. You guys are the sweetest. Pam saying, oh, Jan, that last card is gorgeous. I'm voting for a card of the show, and I am voting yes, because they are all gorgeous.
Oh, thank
says
you.
Kim. Leslie, Rhonda, loving the demonstrations. Joe said she'll join your fan club, as will Stu and Katie as well. So there you go. We've got some founding members.
Fantastic.
You'll have to make sure you do
Thank
happy
you, guys.
birthdays for them, or they'll get very, very upset. Right, let's move on. Let me share with you just again all 8 of these brand new stencils that you've got coming in this collection. Polka dots is the first one that you're going to receive. Then you have got, of course, the abstract swirls. You can do pretty much every single concept that you've seen Jan create in this show with any one of these stencils. So you think about the amount of opportunities you've got to create beautiful items here. You've then got your scattered foliage. You've got the cute florals there. This one here is your love hearts. You've got the elegant trellis and also the rose blood floral as well. So they are all those amazing stencils which are coming your way. Don't forget, you can use your Club Inspired discount on these. Don't forget triple points. If you wanted to go for a couple of these as well, of course you can. 2 for £10. Or $13 if you want to pick them up that way. Remember, it's not your only show today. You've still got another fantastic 2 hours of crafting coming your way at 7 p.m. in the UK, 2 p.m. on the East Coast, 11 a.m. for you West Coasters. It's launch party. Myself and the Hottie Scotty himself will be back with you with the matte and layered dies, as we are now calling them, along with loads of other stuff. There's a great craft box on there for you too. So make sure you come back. Oh, the reindeer collection. We have managed to get some more stock of the 12x12 paper pad and also the 12 by 12 mirror card as well, because we were adamant it was going to have gone yesterday. We've managed to. We did that thing where we sort of like took a little bit from everywhere else, and we're bringing it to you here. So if you did miss out on it yesterday, the foiled card or the mirror card or the 12 by 12 papers, I think there was a little point yesterday where we didn't have any, that it is back in stock for you, which is amazing. It's very, very close between 4 and 6.
Where are we?
4 and 6.
2,
I
3.
thought 6 would win, to be honest. That was what I thought. We are just recounting the vote.
Number 4 and 6.
Number 4 and 6. Which ones are they?
My votes would have been number 3 and number 6.
The snowman and the butterfly.
And the butterfly. So this was number 4.
Yeah.
This one was number 6.
Oh,
yeah.
I can sense, it's like the end of the X Factor where we're just about to announce the winner. I can feel it's going to come through. Okay, number 6 is the winner.
Number 6
number
with the
6.
butterfly.
That's what I thought would be the winner.
Thank you very much, guys. So that
will
was
it be card of the week? Who knows?
know.
We'll
I
have
don't
to
know.
wait and see. Only you have the power to decide. Jan, when are you back with us?
I am back on the 24th, and boy, oh boy, I've just smuggled all the stuff into the
you
boot.
might be back before then.
Am I back before
You're
then?
back on Saturday, Jan.
Oh, of course, yeah, we did a little bit of Into the Future this morning, didn't we?
Yeah.
Yes, so Saturday morning, yes, George and I pre-recorded.
I have a feeling you might be wearing green on Saturday. I'm not sure. Not sure why.
Bit of green that looks like blue on camera. Yes.
Might struggle with play your
And we'll
crafts,
see
right?
who wins, whether it's George or myself, yes.
Absolutely.
And then 24th, I've got some new Dreamies products, which I've just popped into the...
I'll be back with you. That'll be my last day.
Into the boot, yeah. I can't wait to I'm off home to get cracking on those now. So, yeah, brand new products again for that launch day.
Brilliant. That'll be the last day before my birthday, which will be lovely.
Fantastic.
So, yes,
your
I'll see you
birthday's
back
on the 25th.
26.
26.
So
I will make a mental note.
There you are. I'll see you
Mr.
back here.
Remblance.
I'll see you back here for that. If I don't see you before, if I don't see you first. Anyway, check out your baskets. I'll see you in just under 2 hours. Bye.